After just 16 months and a fleeting stint as a very popular app, the anonymous social networking service Secret shutting down. WSJD Deputy Tech Editor Brian Fitzgerald has a story. So what was the big secret about the... Apparently there was no secret to this app's success, because there was no success.
Right. Well, briefly it had success, but I think it really, Secret got sort of caught up, swept up in some fascination and infatuation with, anonymous messaging apps, which were wholly different from anything that, we had come to know with Facebook, and for the few who use Google Plus and whatnot, or even Twitter, everything was so public and with names tied to them. Then you had this crop of anonymous apps show up, and Secret was one of them, and it got swept up in that.
Yeah, and you can see here, this is something we pulled off the site there. There's a couple of them where, so this was the deal. You could post something, anything that you wanted, put it out there anonymously. It seemed to be another very interesting facet of technology and social networking, all these things that you can do with the technology. But why didn't it take off?
Well, I think people came to people figured out over time that, anonymous messaging apps, anonymity, with that comes some problems. And even one of the founders in his sort of going away message stated that, that anonymity was sort of a double-edged sword. And, you start to get into issues of truth-telling, of bullying, of people hurting themselves, hurting others. It's some serious stuff there. You can't just take anonymity lightly. I don't think. And in his parting message, and I'm sure that the founder David Patel will have more to say. He said he'll have more to say, but in his going away post saying he's shutting down the service, he said that the app had kind of gotten away from his initial vision. He didn't really talk about what exactly that was in this going away post, but I have to imagine partly it's the idea of sort of the positive spin is I want to free people, let them say what they want to say, let get off their chest and whatnot. But there's a darker side to that, and I think he ran into it.
It's interesting. Mark Andreessen, well-known VC, on Twitter the other day said that there's something laudable about a company that starts a product, puts it out there, doesn't quite work, and they rather than cling on and try to reimagine it, they just shut it down, return the money, take what you can, sell the and just be done with it.
Sure.
And what's interesting is about the money. The money was not really a problem.
No,
they had it, right?
Yeah, and they probably could have raised more.
Right.
They weren't one of the billion-dollar apps out there, but they were valued at $100 million. They just recently, in July, raised, I think they were up to 35 total. So they had money. There was a little bit of controversy around that most recent fundraising, as you probably know, which is where the founders had cashed out about $6 million. And that was sort of this moment where, people, investors, sort of looked up and said, wait, if the founders are taking money off the table, what does this mean for the product? And so that kind of put a dent, in the story of Secret, and that you follow that story for another 6-8 months, and here we are, and they're shutting it down. You're right; they had more money to spare, but the founder said it just wasn't meeting his vision.
Right. And that last graphic we pulled up, that was not Brian Fitzgerald's secret comment on there.
I don't have one.
It looked like it for a second. I don't have one. And it looked like, your face in there. But anyhow.
Everything I have to say is public. You can find it at Brian Fitz on Twitter. No secret accounts for me.
All right, Brian. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thanks, Paul.